You've been thinking the only way to get corporate clients is cold calling, cold email, and flooding people's DMs with unnecessary pitches, then I want you to stop what you're doing right now, because in this video, I'm going to talk to you about a simpler path, not just from theory, but from the fact that I have closed over $16 million in B2B deals, and the bulk of that did not come from a bunch of cold calling or even cold emailing. Now, is there a time and place for those? Absolutely. But in this video, as you're getting started, I'm going to talk to you about how to create warm connections with corporate buyers in a way that's going to be aligned to the way that you do business. So let's go ahead and dive into this. If you're new to me, my name is Kirsten Allen. Again, I just shared my background. I've worked in corporations selling over $16 million in corporate deals. I've learned the system to go from new connections to closing deals with these organizations. And I've boiled it down to systems that I share here on this YouTube channel. I show consultants, strategists, and coaches how they can turn what they're already doing into lucrative corporate contracts. So if you've ever thought, I want to replace my group program revenue, I've had some government contracts that I've lost, or I just feel a cap and a ceiling when it comes to the number of clients I want to serve and the revenue numbers that I have, the goals that I have, then corporate contracts is going to be a great pathway for you, and you're going to enjoy this video. So I'm going to walk you through a couple of things. First, I'm going to talk about why cold outreach is one of the most is a path that most people are apprehensive about, but they don't understand that there are other paths. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the cold outreach. Then we're going to talk about where are corporate buyers already hanging out, where you can create these warm connections. And then third, I'm going to share with you the slight positioning shift. This is where most people get it wrong. So you want to make sure that you stick around to the end, because it makes no difference if you can get in the right spaces when you don't know how to position yourself. So I'm going to give you a really juicy secret on positioning yourself for these opportunities that's going to make corporate decision makers reach out to you. All right, so let's get into it. Cold outreach. I don't mind doing outreach, guys. I want to be clear on that. That's definitely something that works. However, what I know is that for most people, this may be your first foray into this type of sales. And if that is true, what I like to share with people is that there are warm ways that you can work yourself up to be able to create new relationships. Now, cold calling, while I'm not against it, is not the effective way to be connecting with these folks, because in today's world, most people are working from home, right? So do we actually have a number where we can reach them? An email or a LinkedIn message would be far more effective than trying to do a bunch of cold calling. So what is the alternative, or what is the other opportunity where you can get some low-hanging fruit opportunities without feeling like you need to build relationships from scratch? Warm positioning. Instead of going to people cold, think about how you put yourself in spaces where they're already ready to make these type of decisions, and you can build trust quickly. Trust is the name of the game when it comes to corporate deals, and really when it comes to any type of sales as a business owner. In the room is where you can build that the most. I want you to think about the last time you hired someone significantly. Did they call you and pitch to you? Did they send you an email? Did they send you a LinkedIn message? Or did you ask someone in your network for a recommendation? Maybe you're looking for a landscaper. Maybe you're looking for a meal prep person. Or maybe you're looking for someone to help you on a business side. Most likely it came from a trusted recommendation, or maybe you were in a space and you got to meet someone in person and be connected with them. That is exactly how corporate buyers work. And that is how you move deals faster. Know, like, and trust is a real thing in this space as well. And your job is to create the conditions for them to trust you before you ever pitch anything. All right. Now, if we've gotten into that and your wheels are turning and thinking about different networks, or maybe a person is coming to mind where you're like, this would be a great person for me to talk to, I want to let you know in the description, I have a free gift for you. It is my proven email template that actually led to a $154,000 contract back in my day when I was in a career as an account executive, and still works for myself and my clients today as business owners. So go ahead and grab that email template now, because as we're going through the rest of this, you want to go ahead and have this ready to send to that person that's swirling in your mind. All right, so let's get back into it. 3 places that corporate buyers are already looking for you. First place, stages. Corporate buyers attend conferences, summits, industry professional events, networking events. They are all over the place. And when they see a person on stage, you instantly become a credible resource that they want to learn more about, especially if you deliver well. So when it comes to clients or people that I'm working with that have a great speaking skill, we look at what are the conferences in your area or around the country, quite honestly, or regions of particular associations that you can be a part of. I've had multiple clients tell me that a speaking engagement was the most valuable marketing activity that they did. And in fact, that is one of my most highest converting marketing activities, definitely over social media and doing cold emailing, is being in the room and having those engagements. And it's not because of cashing out on the speaker's fee, which we love that, okay? We definitely want that. But the open doors that come from being on stage sometimes can outweigh not getting an initial fee up front. We could do a whole nother video on that, but just to make sure that you understand, it's about being placed in the right spaces where you are elevated and create a room full of opportunities. So if you're not pursuing speaking opportunities in your industry, you're leaving corporate money on the table, full stop. This is where most deals are going to be done. Now, second place, LinkedIn. I'll tell you this from my perspective. There were several years throughout my journey where I didn't feel that I had the ability to go out and do as much speaking and networking as I wanted to because I'm a mom. I kept my son home for the first 4 years of his life. He didn't go to daycare, so I was managing at one point my full-time role, my son and my business, and then my business and my son until he just recently went off to school, right? So during the day, I didn't have much flexibility because of the setup that we had as far as his care. So I had to do a lot of things that were online, which again, no problem with that. But understanding that if you think about this triangle with the know, like, and trust, in the room that trust is high and can be created quickly, LinkedIn and definitely email are going to be on more of the lower end in terms of speed. But if you're someone that's like me and like, hey, I could maybe only do a few of these, how else can I continue to supercharge? LinkedIn is going to be one pathway. Not the way that you think, though, because I hear it all the time. People are like, LinkedIn is scammy, and people are always pitching to me, and my inbox is full of all that. I know you're cringing right now, but here's the difference. I'm not talking about sending mass emails that have nothing to do with what people actually do. I'm talking about, number one, creating a presence on there that showcases you doing the work, developing thought leadership around how you do the work that you do in a way that makes sense to them. So when we're thinking about you as a coach, we're going to talk about the positioning piece towards the end. So make sure you're still here with me because that's really going to put this all together. But as a coach, you want to start developing content that helps you be seen as a solution for corporate organizations. So that's one way. And then you want to develop valuable relationships and connections. So not spamming, but looking at, is this the type of person that makes decisions for speakers or to bring folks into their organization? Let's connect. I want to hear more about you. Here's what I have going on. Being able to build real relationships is still possible on LinkedIn, guys. Most people just get it wrong. Most people aren't human enough to ask what's going on the other side with these organizations and be able to break those barriers down to find out how you all can create a collaboration. When a VP of HR, for example, is looking for a leadership coach and they find your article on executive burnout, they will likely reach out to you in the DMs rather than maybe you posting some Instagram reel or something like that, or even a TikTok. Not to say people can't find you there, but on LinkedIn, people are looking to do business. There is a certain methodology there, but when you are there as a thought leader and showcasing the work that you can do, you win. That's called warm inbound. Last place is going to be strategic partnerships and referrals. This is one that coaches completely overlook, to be honest with you. When I sat back and thought about the coaches that even I have worked with and how many times they've worked with people who are decision makers in corporations, and they never think about establishing a partnership or referral connection with those people. That's your warm network. So you want to think about who already has relationships, or it might even be your ideal corporate buyer and they're sitting right under your nose. business attorneys, HR consulting firms, executive coaches, corporate trainers. These are the relationships that you want to build with either people who have that decision-making power or even people who influence it. So yes, you may have people in your existing network from clientele perspective, maybe in your friendships or even in your personal life. Start to think through your network and see who's connected. Once you begin to build or even reactivate those relationships, you can start to get very clear on how you're evolving your business and how they can support you as a partner. Here's a quick talk track. Go ahead and write this down. Hey, Name. I'm excited to be expanding my business into the corporate world, and I immediately thought of you as someone that I need to talk to. Are you open to a quick 15 or 20 minute chat where I can share some updates of what I have going on and get your feedback? Boom. Send that out today. Send that out today. And on that conversation, you're going to ask some questions. You're going to share, this is what I'm thinking. This is the industry that I'm thinking about going in. Here's what I have to offer. Based on your perspective and what you do within X, Y, and Z company, how do you see this as aligned to what the needs are right now? People inside of corporations, they know all the stuff, right? And they'll be able to say, well, hey, this department could be a good fit for you, or I'd be willing to make this recommendation or this introduction for you. That is going to open the doors. All right. So those are the places. Now, remember to go ahead and grab that email template too, because that's going to help you be able to reach out to not only your existing network, but you could also do this with new people, guys. So instead of pitching your services, cold pitching, that's what I should have talked about with the emails and the calling. Instead of doing that cold pitching stuff, people are so willing to just get on the phone and talk to you about what you're doing and giving you feedback. We call it market research. I've talked to many strangers and people have reached out to me and literally have gotten on the phone with me and given me whole strategies on how to connect with companies like Chick-fil-A, right? If you approach it to, I see you as a leader in this space, or I see you're holding a role that I think would be conducive or provide some additional information for this project that I'm working on, I'd love to interview you and get your feedback. They will give you the information and be happy to do it, because most people want to see others win, unless, we're in some type of weird situation. But most people want to see others win. So instead of worrying about pitching your services, think about how do you just have conversations so you can actually get the blueprint, the roadmap that you're looking for. So make sure you go ahead and drop into the description and grab that email. All right, point 3. We're excited about this one. The positioning shift that changes everything. Here is the number one reason why coaches leave hundreds of thousands and even $1 million on the table every single year. Corporate buyers won't reach out to you if they can't immediately see what problem you solve for their organization. Too many of us are only focused on pretty niche statements and talking about the transformation that we provide for our individual clients. Not enough of us do the extra step of thinking about, at a higher level, at an organizational level, how can this make more of an impact? I tell people that companies pay for two things: to save more money or make more money. Your particular expertise as a coach has to align with that. And it doesn't mean that you have to do something hardcore like business or marketing. I've actually worked with clients who've done things like mindset work, where you think, there's no way, or this isn't something that they would pay high dollar amounts for. And they absolutely do, because that example, mindfulness work, the way that you talk about it means everything. So in an example, a mindset coach might say, I help you get rid of the internal drama so you can live a more fulfilling life. I just gave that example, right? That might be a $5K skill a year or something like that. That might be a $25K skill that people would pay for. But then side B would be, I help organizations reduce employee turnover and increase productivity through my 3-step mind over matter framework. Increase turnover, reduce productivity, millions of return. That automatically, that buzzword, the way that you position it and talk about it, is exactly what's going to get companies' eyes. So the B side is going to get corporations reaching out to them instantly. And here's the thing. I want to be real with y'all. There are some people using this language who are not as good as you. There are some people who don't have the accolades, who don't have the receipts, who don't have the blood, sweat, and tears that you've put into the work that you've done, but they have the language, and that's why they get the opportunities. I sat in as a corporate professional in trainings with people who were a snooze fest, who were saying things from 1999, not anything up to date that we needed to know. And as an entrepreneur, being able to experience many coaches' frameworks and how you think and how fast you're able to implement, it definitely was a breath of fresh air for me, because coming from corporate, it seems like they're always 10 steps behind. I say that because this is not just about how to rein in the cash, which again, we love the cash. There's an impact that is waiting for you. There is a path that's waiting for you. And I personally, my mission is to not see more of the same people in this space. I want to see new people. I want to see you in the space. So this positioning is important out of everything that I've shared. So these things, when you do the side B that I mentioned, is how an HR director or a VP is going to say, hey, tell me more about that. We've got a $25K budget. Can you come in and do a workshop? Absolutely. Why are we only hinging on filling up group programs, which is great, filling up events, all of that is great. But who's not signing up for you? Not your team, not your back end, not your delivery, not your funnel, not all of that stuff, but just you and the expertise that you stand in to come into an organization, talk about your frameworks, give them a transformation, and go home with a 5-figure check. Drop on in the comments if that's what you want. Drop some money bags in the comments if that sounds like something that you want to be on. So the thing to remember with whatever it is, I gave you a few examples. Corporate buyers are solving organizational problems, employee retention, leadership pipeline, team performance, burnout. Your positioning needs to speak directly to those problems, not coaching, online business language, but organizational context. So I want you to try it on for size, and also drop this in the comments. Based on this formula that I've shared and these different areas that are important to organizations, go ahead and try out your statement in the comments, and I'll go through everyone that posts theirs and give you some feedback. So let me know, what is that area? And then if you had to introduce yourself to me, which I was a corporate buyer before, but if you had to introduce yourself to me as someone who can help me provide by providing services to my organization, how would you position yourself? Whoever's brave, go ahead and do it. And I'll go ahead and make sure that I give you some feedback so you can get it off the ground. So don't forget to drop in the comments and share that. If I gave you a new way in thinking about how to reach corporate clients, I want you to do me 2 favors. Number 1, subscribe to this channel, because I want you to get notified when we have our next video. I've already given you a few prompts to drop into the comments that you've already done. And so if you haven't commented yet, make sure you leave a comment. Let me know which of these strategies stood the most out to you. Let me know your statement. I read every single comment. And what I actually want to start doing is shouting out comments in my videos. And so you might get featured in my next video and get some new eyeballs on your channel if you drop me a comment. And if you want to go deeper on how to position yourself with corporate buyers, then I have something amazing for you to grab. So you're going to get that email template, and then you're also going to have the opportunity to take our corporate contracts readiness quiz. So if you want to understand where you are and what you need to have to go from I don't know how to approach these corporate buyers to I now have a system where I can attract them using what I already have. There's no need to go back to school, learn anything else, none of that. You can take what you have. Then this quiz is going to be your best next step. So you'll take that, takes 5 minutes, you'll get the results, and then you'll have the opportunity to chat with me and do a debrief about your next steps as well. All right. So if you don't want this time to end, this next video is here for you to check out. And don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to be dropping new content very frequently for coaches and consultants who are tired of only playing in this one space and want to begin to elevate themselves to be positioned for corporate contracts. I'll see you in the next video.